We are here with the legendary West Indian batsman Alvin Kallicharran. I'm going to ramble on a little bit before I get him to come in on the conversation. Alvin Kallicharran, from what I understand, it's his first visit back here to the hallowed grounds of the Queen's Park Oval, or indeed Trinidad, in 20 years. This is the very ground, the Queen's Park Oval, and the camera would probably pan around in a minute to see the grounds where he scored some 4 centuries at a test level on these grounds. For some reason, according to my research, he did not score any centuries for Guyana at the Shell Shield level, but certainly this was a favorite hunting ground of his. When he scored, remind us of the 4 centuries you scored, Mr. Kallicharran.
I think my first test match here was against New Zealand.
That's correct. 1972, your second test match,
Yes.
where you scored 101. Following on your first test match where you scored 100 at Border.
Yeah, first
So
test match, 100.
I don't know how many people have scored back-to-back centuries in 2 consecutive tests in their first 2 test matches. I haven't done that research, but you must be one of a short list.
Nasser, it's not a question of scoring those 200s. You know, when we were growing up in Guyana, in the village, and all our interest, what we focused on was to be successful at cricket and to play for Guyana and national level. And when people ask me about the scores you may have scored, what's the best moment of my life? Was to play 1 test match. That was my ambition, to play 1. And if I didn't play another one, it didn't matter, but to play that first test match.
That's right, and you went on to play 66 test matches. But I want to go on to say that in your 3rd test match you scored 50. And then you went on to your 5th test match back here at the Queen's Park Oval against the mighty Aussies, and you scored 53 and 91. I don't know what it is about this school. What was it? Was it a great batting strip, or you loved the Trinidadian crowd?
Both. The wicket in those days is a tester to bat. You know, more than people used to say in the times of the Willie Rodriguez, and they came the Jumadin, Inchinali, the best spinners in Western cricket then. And it's always a competition. You have to compete here when you came to Trinidad to play, and more so from after half an hour, the spinners on turning wickets in Trinidad. And I was fortunate growing up in the village in Burby, where playing spinners was a diet. And the wickets we played on, I saw spinners. So when I came here, it was like being at home, really and truly being at home. And for that reason, scoring the runs is one. But to have so many people that have really shown me so much love, and coming here for the first time, the love shown me after 20 years, it's difficult really how to put that together, how much I may have done to make people's lives very, very happy.
Well, you certainly did. Imagine the crowds here just going crazy when you would let loose. But then you went on in 1974 to score 158 against England. Against India in 1976, you score 103 not out. Against Pakistan in 77, 45. In 78, against Australia, 127. Then against Australia, your last big score here was 92. I mean, these are records that I'll have to dig deep to see if there's a match. But your games for Guyana, you first played for Guyana in Grenada in 1967, and you only blossomed, I see, in Border on your 3rd match, which was against Barbados, where you scored 63, and Joe Solomon scored 169. Do you remember those times?
You know, it's going back a bit now, but it was the names you call. They were the pioneers and they were the foundation for people like us. But Let me go back 1 minute here.
Sure.
Nasser. I just, when you say I'm back here after 20 years, I just want to break away for 1 second.
Sure.
To thank the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board for giving me the privilege to come to West Indies. And for the first time, somebody at that level invited me to come and show what I can do in terms.
This, right?
To show what I can do in terms of coaching.
Well, I was just witnessing you with the youngsters there, and these youngsters were a lot of left-handed batsmen were just lapping up everything you had to do, but to offer. But think of it, these are little children. Kallicharran is way in the past, but we as fans and subsequent generations all know of your exploits, and we're going to talk a little bit about, because this is a cricketing interview. I'll ask you about some personal questions in a while, but I understand how you feel, and that the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board, and I must thank Suraj Raghunath for arranging this interview, for bringing you here, and why did the authorities do not do more of that for the legends. But I'm sure this is the first of many initiatives by Mr. Bassarat and his group as they continue, and maybe they have set the tone for such initiatives. And we'd certainly love to see you back here, but having you is certainly a pleasure, and it's an honor to be here. So, coming back to some of your legendary scores, I see in 1981 on the sort of the ending of your regional and test career, you scored 184 against Trinidad at border. Outside of the Queen's Park Oval, you seem to love Trinidad bowling. As you said, it's the spinners or what? What was it?
Well, it seems that, I seem to love the spinners, I love the wickets, and when I came here, the people loved me. So, and it was by no coincidence that when I was playing for West Indies, I used to stay back after every test match in Trinidad. I only used to go to Guyana, play the test match, and come back to Trinidad.
Okay.
So I don't know, for some reason it was that, something here in the
water.
Food or the water.
The roti and
roti,
bara and chana.
Everything. Yes.
Well, listen, you also had some relatives who played cricket. When you stopped in 81, I see, is Derek your brother? Yeah, he took over in 82, so there was a sort of succession.
Yes.
And then there was your nephew Mahendra Nagamoto, who played from 94 to 2007. Vishal,
yeah.
A nephew as well?
Yes. Well, I tell you what, from what I know, my father was a good cricketer at home too. He captained the club, and then I've got a lot of uncles from both sides of the family. They were all good club cricketers. So we used to follow them, what they were doing. We used to go to the community center. We used to go to the club and then practice with them and be with them and look at them and copy everything they were doing.
You fed off their passion, learning from what they're doing.
And the village passion. And when you consider the village passion, when you consider that Rohan Kanai, Basil Butcher, Joe Solomon, Rohan Kanai from the same village, together with a few other test cricketers in the past, like John Trim, Robert Christiani, they were all from the village.
Right.
So it's got a history.
Kanhai was anywhere?
From the village.
From the village. Was he related to you?
No relation, but the closeness of everybody.
It's like family.
Everybody was here. Right. So they set a high standard for us, and you model yourself after them. You used to play imaginary games, getting a stick, go behind any piece of land, and you just copy them, what they were doing.
Amazing how it was.
Yeah, mentally you were
correct. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. I reached out to Michael Holden this morning via email, and he said to me he has a great relationship with you. You all did some coaching last year in Washington. Between Washington and now, and pre-Washington, after you ended your cricketing career in 1990 at Warwickshire, how did you progress in life in terms of using what you knew best?
Yeah. Well, I was traveling the different parts of the globe, doing consultancy, doing stretches of coaching from place to place, and then came back to England, and then I was with Lashings for 10 years. As manager player, so that took up my time, and then I ended up in America, doing some coaching too. So I'm doing consultancy out there to travel around the country in America.
Right. So, but that's quite a length of time between 1990.
I was traveling all over.
All over.
Then, I spent 10 years with Lashings. In the stretch, so that took up a lot of time and everything. So.
And what do you have coming up after Trinidad?
From Trinidad, I'm going back. I've got work in California, and I've got work in North Carolina to go back to. So.
North Carolina?
Yeah. So.
How about further north, Toronto, places like that?
I haven't been to Canada yet. I haven't done anything there.
Because I see they just announced they're going to build a multi-million-dollar indoor all-year facility for cricket. That was announced yesterday, I believe. So maybe that's an area.
Well, obviously, the CEO of that Toronto CPL League or something like that.
Right.
We have already spoken about certain things.
Right.
So when that is finished, we are going to talk. So look, but here again, Nasser, I was telling the ministers last night at the function that we have dreams, and it wouldn't be nice to finish something where it started, to finish my sporting career in the West Indies where it all started, but it's only a dream.
Well, it's a dream, but if you give it enough positive vibes, and with this initiative here by the first one, as you've said, in the Caribbean, since your playing days were over, here at Trinidad, maybe it will mushroom, and who knows, maybe Guyana might see the light, and that might be your last hurrah. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be great, but that would be great. But then again, you came here, and I wake up in the morning and say, boy, I don't want this day to finish. I want it to go on and on and on. But so I said, we live in hope and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I've created a good impact and relationship with the kids there. I tried to be their friends, and the age gap didn't matter. How you communicate with them is the key thing. I made them my friends, and we did simple things together in terms of technique, what they want to achieve, what we all want to achieve out of this. And at the end of the day, you want Trinidad and West Indies to be successful, both, and they're going to be successful for West Indies if they're successful for Trinidad. So these are the training methods used to communicate. What do you want out of this? How to be hungry and have discipline. Simple things I teach.
I saw that. I couldn't have noticed.
Yeah, scoring runs and getting wickets. You can't have two simplest things.
Repeat for audience. The two shots. There are two shots in cricket. I saw you imparting that on the kids.
Yes, that's why I explained to them. Simple thing. There's a back foot and there's a front foot.
Basic.
Yeah. Simple enough.
Great.
Yeah. So.
Well, listen. Did you go to Tobago also?
Yes, I was also in Tobago.
So we have to say Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. Yes.
How was that experience?
The experience was great. I mean, this is first time. It's so emotional for me to be here for these days, and you relive a lot of things, and all the memories come back. Like sitting here now, talking to you, and looking over over the ground, Queens Park Oval. Imagining the full house when we were playing.
4 centuries.
Yeah. Either in the Shell Shield in those days, capacity crowd, playing the test match, capacity crowd. And
you talk about capacity crowds though. Nowadays, if you get 100 people, as Nigel Camacho here, super fan of cricket, will attest, he and I are probably one of the few who are always here.
You come here, 4 o'clock people lining up.
That's right. Remember the days of the whole of Prisal villages is lining up. Those were the days. Those were the days.
Yeah.
I want to get back here. There are some pivotal moments in your cricketing career. There's pre-Packer, Packer, post-Packer, that includes your decision to feed your family and create a positive impact as you did in going to South Africa. There is also the 1974 infamous run out here with Tony Gregg. A lot has been spoken about that. Your onslaught on Lily, what was it? 65 in 10 balls, was it? Something like that. I mean, that's on YouTube for anybody to see. Amazing. You know, Lily in his prime.
Yeah.
And of course, as just mentioned, there's a Packer, pre-Packer, and so on. Do you think one of the reasons Guyana has not invited you back had to do with that South African decision of yours?
Well, but let's get back to the Packer thing first. I made up my mind. I wasn't going to Packer. And the first time, Warwickshire said if I went with Packer, they were not going to renew my contract. And at that time, Warwickshire was the most important thing.
Of course, it was your home.
Your daily bread.
Correct. You lived in England too.
So that you had to really be careful how you make that decision, because you didn't know where Packer was going to go. I didn't know Mr. Packer. And even then, after the first year, during that, whilst it was going on, they offered me twice the money to go. And that means if I did that, he was going to own me. And suppose the players find out that I was getting more money, they probably think I'm being bought and I'm selling myself cheaply. And I didn't want to do these kind of things. And I said no. The second year when we were playing bad, Australia here, they came back again, and I still said no. I wasn't going because I had a good relationship with Warwickshire, and I wanted it to continue.
It started in 72 and went to 1990.
92.
It started in
20 years.
20 years at Warwickshire.
Well, so
and you were 41 when you ended your first class career. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I see Nigel Camacho here shaking his head.
One club.
We wish we could be.
They put your bags, and that was it.
That was it. And they treated you well generally.
Generally, yes.
Generally,
so, you know, and then I'm not going to be goody two-shoe, whatever people want to do in their career and everything. And I took the chance. And then what happens there to me now is when we came back from India, 2 days after we came back from India, Mr. Gomez, who was Secretary of the Cricket Board, he rang me in England and he said to me, Clive Lloyd being reinstated, and are you available to come to England for the World Cup? Just coached nearly 700 runs in India.
This was for the 83 World Cup?
No, 79.
Right, okay.
Right. They didn't even wait for me to send a report of the tour, having just scored nearly 700 runs in a test series in India. And then to ask me, are you available to go to
you
World
did
Cup?
play in the 79
Yeah, I did.
Right.
And you know, then obviously you have to take stock of your career then, because cricket was the only thing we know, playing professional cricket. So you had to take stock. And later on, when this offer came by in South Africa, I had to make up my mind. Yes, what do I do?
And you had a from all reports, it seems as though you, in spite of the apartheid regime, you had a very good time there in breaking down some barriers, making good friends.
Yeah.
Crowds were coming out there to support you guys.
Yes,
I mean,
yes. Let people look at the other side of what happened just now. Number one, we didn't spend time in the white area. We were doing work in the colored area, in the black area, in the Sowetos. I started the softball cricket in Soweto. And it was the first time that Wanderers was filled with people of all dimensions. Indians, colored, black, white, all playing at Wanderers for the first time around 1983. And then look what happened now. The relationship now you create between the two areas. You close the gap. And look how quickly South Africa got back into international cricket. We're not talking about that. We overlooked all those things.
I think you guys definitely helped to break the barriers
Yes,
quicker down. So
I said I'm not playing an angel, but what people, they're not looking what the good we have done. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that the biases in Guyana will go away, fade away. People would see the light. They'll probably listen to this interview. It'll probably be on YouTube. And maybe it will have an impact and reach the consciousness of somebody who would realize, hey, listen, this is a legend of Guyana. We need to bring him back here, while he still has the will.
At the same time, Nasser, I don't want people to buy me that cheap. I want to earn things. Well, I've done it all my career.
I don't think there's a question of what you've done.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If I want you, take me in my own right. Yeah.
And to think that at 31, I believe you were excluded from the West Indies team, and you had to move on with your life, which you did at Warwickshire, South Africa, Transvaal, and all the teams that there's Transvaal, Queensland, Orange Free State, that you went on to play cricket with.
I've done the rounds.
You've made the rounds, I want to. What do you think? Was it a series of low scores, you think? Because I was doing a little research there, and was it a series of low scores, a loss of form that caused them to justify your dropping, or what do you think might it be?
At that period,
at 31.
At that period of West Indies cricket, the way things were going, we're not too sure which was the right one.
Which was the right?
When I wasn't scoring runs, what was the right reason?
Yeah.
Because the way it was happening with the World Cup situation, I'm not saying Clive is the most successful captain we have produced in West Indies, and only rightly so. He should come back as the captain, no doubt about that. Because most of the players, the top players we had, they all went to Pakistan. So it was only in terms of that. With the players and who should be captain, Clive, yes, should be with the way he's successful, yes, but the way it was handled,
right,
the way it was done, that created doubts in my mind. What was the future?
As the captain, when it was dropped into your lap as such, you went to India and I think you played 6 tests. You captained 6 test matches and lost just one. Which is a phenomenal.
Well, exactly.
Against the might with a second-rate team. If I could use that, yeah. So you have a pretty good. So you should have said as captain. Listen, I want to now wrap up by asking you some quick questions. This is for the Guardian newspaper that I told you on. Where were you born and where did you grow up exactly in Guyana?
Port Morant.
What quick info says Paidama.
No, that's
wrong.
That was Tony Co's mistake. He started that.
Okay, so you good. I'm glad I'm asking these questions. Port Morant, right? And you grew up in Port Morant.
I grew up in Port Morant.
Who were the people who influenced and inspired you the most in your career and in life in general?
One person was a local shopkeeper, and inspiration.
Local shopkeeper.
Yeah, local shop. He used to give us a little $10 or $2.
Remember his name?
Yeah, a chap called Mr. Hindu, Ramji. A chap called Ramji. He passed away now, his whole family, and he used to finance us with $5 to go to Georgetown and $10 to go to Georgetown. There was a lot of money those days.
Of course.
He used to put it in both pockets. Yeah.
Lovely. That's a great story. I'm glad I'm asking these questions.
Yeah, but when you talk about what inspired you, and for most of us in that era, our role models, the role models we had, and we used to read, we used to go to the library and read about the people who created West Indies cricket. We know about Leary Constantine. I read his book. I read George Headley's book, The 3 W's, Sir Frank Worrell, and then came the geniuses of Sir Gary Sobers, Kanhai, Joe Solomon, that grew up in the village, role models of the, I said the 3 W's, all the old cricketers that played for West Indies.
You're a student of the game.
We were students, we read about them, and we know who they were. And we were copying them mentally. And when they give you vibration, they give you a purpose how to walk out there. Because you know why? They have set a strong foundation for people like us. Our job was easy. Maintain it only. They had to work hard for it. be maintained, and that when you have those songs, people to inspire you and be your role models, you can't do anything else but look at the higher level.
Right. It's to emulate and even do better, and that's important for our current stars, because I remember being here some years ago and Lance Gibbs was in this very pavilion, and there was an off spinner. I won't call his name, and I was in the company, happened to be there, and they asked this off spinner, young off spinner, do you know who that is? And he did not know. He had no clue who Lance Gibbs was. That, I think, is sort of,
that's the difference at the level.
probably not prevalent, but somewhat typical of the young generation.
Well, I wouldn't,
They're not students of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe because they have other distractions, that the money is coming easier and so many things. And it's not an indictment. I'm just saying the difference and that level of inspiration, which we're talking about, is probably lacking.
Yeah, well, we had inspiration, put it this way. And let's go to another level here where cricket is concerned. When we were growing up, our grassroots cricket was very, very strong. Our club cricket was 3 days. And from that level, when one is strong, it's only climb over to the other level, playing for Guyana. The gap is only that. And when Shell Shield was so strong in that period, when all the West Indian players were playing, all were always available. So that was top notch. So the level to climb that is small, and the next level to West Indian cricket is only small. So you're closing the gap all the time. Now the gap between grassroots to national level is huge, and once that is huge, what can you get from national level to Test cricket level? So the gap
you lose people along the way.
I think that's one of the biggest problems we're facing, the gaps.
All right, I want to go into your schooling, elementary school in Guyana. What elementary school did you go to?
I was fortunate to finish with O levels.
But you did elementary school at what school?
I went to Anglican school, St. Joseph Anglican.
St. Joseph Anglican.
And then I went to Portmore Comprehensive.
Portmore Comprehensive would be your O-level high school. Very good.
So finished both eras. I entered into a new era both at the same time, playing for Guyana at 16 and playing for finished my O-levels, and that was my education. Everything on that I learned by traveling.
Cricket has taken you to many countries. What country would you like to visit that you haven't visited?
I don't think there's any country in particularly. I just enjoyed, I've always enjoyed going back to India, and for the purpose going back to mother country used to be emotional to go to India. And play against Australia, you have to compete. They love the cricket, they abuse you, they love you, and everything, you know, and so and you have to play against Australia, you have to compete, and you have to maintain that level of that kind of thing. But you know, sometimes when you're homesick and the home life come back into play the West Indian way, come back into your life, wouldn't it be nice to sit here, nice warm weather, you know, and enjoy taking in everything that you know that you missed by being away from West Indies so long, and then you come back in a different capacity to really enjoy it.
You currently live where?
I'm in America at the moment, between London and North Carolina.
So you maintain homes in both countries.
Yeah.
Interesting. Outside of the Queen's Park Oval, which is your favorite cricketing ground?
Queen's Park Oval.
Outside of the Queen's Park.
Oval in England. And Eden Garden in India. They all look the same. They have that love, and no one that seems to score runs in the oval-shaped ground.
True cricket-shaped ground. Yeah. Of all your accolades, prizes, and awards, which do you rate as extremely special?
Accolades. You know, you can't put records or runs to any of these equations. For me, I was happy to have played the game and to play the game to the highest and to have played for that long. That's the accolade. Runs and score situations or medals, it won't match.
Well, you had
that.
to score runs to maintain the longevity. But did you get any tangible awards? Maybe your name on something, a plaque, a medal, something tangible. Do you put one up on your mantelpiece in England above the fireplace and say, do you have any such attachments?
Medals like World Cup medals and all these medals and everything. But as to order any sort of a mantelpiece whereby the recognition, it never happened here. It never really. Warwickshire recognized me. They gave me something, but other than that, nothing in the West Indies. This is the closest I've got to anything in West Indies. To come in for 2 weeks by train.
Go Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board.
This is the closest.
Very good. Why do you think West Indies cricket has deteriorated the way it has? That deteriorated to the extent that we're now number 8 to 9 out of 10 with 2 minnows behind us, chomping at the bit to beat us.
My simple explanation is role models in one, and the situation what I explained to you just now in terms of our different level of cricket. I can't see any other reason. If the feeder system is not progressive and successful, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to end up in a situation where you have to fight all the time to produce players. That's probably that's what I
simple explanation.
That's my simple explanation.
What would you have been if not a cricketer?
Boy, you leave it to upstairs. Only one would never know. One would never know. Probably I'll be still be in the same village, being a fisherman, being a cane cutter.
Fate,
destiny.
Right. And here's my good question I like to ask people I interview. Describe yourself in 2 words, one beginning with A and the other with K. Your initials. Mr. Camacho is smiling here because I interviewed him and I won't tell you what he said.
You're testing my knowledge now, man.
What was yours, Mr. Camacho? NC? Need cricket. N for need, C for cricket. I mean, talk about a superhero, a super fan, sorry.
Yeah.
A and K. I think you'll have to get back to me on this one. I had to call you up in the States, boy. I had to call you up.
Oh boy, you asked me about my academic qualifications.
Yeah.
Now you're really testing it.
No, that's a good laugh. I haven't got a good laugh like that for a while. Alright, so now, do you think you would do a semi-autobiography maybe with your son Rohan or somebody else as the author? There's so much to your cricket and life and times of Alvin Kallicharran that I am sure would be a bestseller, especially here in Trinidad and Tobago and probably Guyana and around the world.
People have asked me that a lot, and
anybody has approached you to be a ghostwriter to sit with you
and sometimes, as a human being, I've finished a career and to do things, to write a book, sometimes the truth has got to come out. You have got to explain yourself. On that you don't want to do, you've got to speak.
But the truth will set you free.
Yeah, the truth will set you free,
and set others free too.
Because there's a lot to say.
So the answer to my question is it in the making? Can we see in the next 2 years, maybe?
Possible.
No, one book that I tell you I read was Man in the Middle. That's Gordon Greenidge. And I've read Courtney Walsh's, I've read Holdings, and they're great reading, a lot of good stories, but I sense there was a lot of holding back, no pun intended, or pun intended. And I'm wondering if you would go the Greenidge way and give the true story, and I would encourage you, sir. I'll be your
encouragement is not the thing. Here it is. I went to South Africa and they killed me. Yeah. No, you know what I mean?
Yes.
They killed me in the West Indies.
Sure.
You want me to speak the truth? What they're going to do to me here?
They may have done you a favor.
Yeah.
They may have done you a favor. Look at you've traveled the world from your base in England and the States, sharing this knowledge of cricket, this everything. I'm wondering if you were here in the Caribbean, if you would have done that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I'm just
have been
saying
asked.
things happen.
Yeah.
It's fate.
Fate. I have been asked, yes. Even the president of the board,
Mr. Bassarat, yeah.
He's spoken about it. We should do it, and now that I'm coming back here and I get the feeling of what I want to do, I probably can.
Okay, and we would like to encourage you.
Yeah.
And we would look forward to you embarking upon that. And after spending all this quality time, I know we're all thirsty, so we're going to go downstairs now, have a drink, and look at that board, the Centurions board. Maybe take a couple pictures if you don't mind. I think hopefully Willie Rodriguez is downstairs waiting. He just tried to call. So I want to thank you on behalf of the Queen's Park Cricket Club and the Trinidad Guardian, both of which this interview will form the basis, and hopefully we'll send you copies. It would be online, and maybe your son who might be online, I'll send you copies. So again, thank you very much. Any parting words for our audience and what we can put in writing to share with?
I just want to share with them what they've given me, with the love they've shown me over the years coming to Trinidad, and it's a mutual thing. I entertain them and they give me love.
On that note,
I'm always simple towards simple things.
Thank you very much.
Do simple things often.
Well, we can't leave without giving us your autograph on one of those famous cover drives of yours. SSPR. Nigel, I hope he hasn't left.